Today we're going to be doing the weekly technicals video. This is something I do every single week. They're uploaded every single Sunday, and I do an overview of the markets for the week ahead and what I'm going to be looking for. What's going on, guys? My name is Jrod4x and welcome to another video. If you want to learn how to trade Forex using technical analysis and price action and all kind of other Forex related stuff, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell icon so you don't miss anything. So the dollar index, we have made a higher high coming above these equal highs back here. And I did get a question from one of the members, and he was asking, with dollar index making this higher high and euro dollar making a lower low, GU has made a higher low. So would that indicate a potential seasonal tendency with divergence and a potential long? And that actually is one of the ideas that could potentially unfold for cable. So looking at this now, let's take a look at dollar index a little bit more in detail, and then we'll break down euro and GBP. So we have this daily ICT bearish order block here. It's these series of 4 up candles. So you have this up candle, this one, and this one. All of those combined is basically 4 days worth of a candle. So if we were on a 4-day time frame, this would be one candle itself, and it would be an ICT bearish order block. Because once this candle broke through it, it became an ICT bearish order block once this candle here closed lower than it. So here we never came back up to that level. We just made equal highs, and the market here tried to push up to that level, but we didn't get quite up to it yet. We sold off, came back down into support, this daily order block, pushed up a little bit, made another low right at that same level, and then we finally made the higher high above these highs and above these highs back here. Now, when we made this high, look at what happened. We formed a big wick. So I talked about this last week. If we formed a big wick, then what I wanted to see was a strong close above that 95.20 level. Look at what happened. The bodies of the candles closed below that 95.20 level. We showed rejection, and we've broken below the daily low that I said if we break below this, we're going to look for lower prices in dollar index. So going into the week, we're going to be assuming that dollar index is going to continue lower. Now you're probably wondering, where is it going to go to? Well, the first target that we're going to be looking for is the high of this ICT bullish order block, and that comes in at 94.03. So really you could be looking for about 94.05 to 94 big figure. We would expect the market to find some support there if it is going to continue higher, meaning it'll go back above 95.20 and 95.50. This would be the level that they should find support at, if that's the case. Now, if they continue through this, so if we're on an hourly time frame and they're closing below this level and they start to break below this, we're going to expect weaker prices on dollar index. All right, ultimately, I'm going to be looking for a break below this low back here, but we could just take out these equal lows here, find some support, and maybe consolidate for a bit. So I'm expecting that as well. But overall, I don't think dollar index is just going to reverse and go higher from here without coming back to this ICT bullish order block here on a daily time frame. So this is what I'm looking for in terms of the downside objective. Now, when we get to that level, again, I don't know if we're going to find support and push higher, but we have to watch what the market's doing. So if the market pushes into this level, and we're on a 15-minute time frame, and we see the market forming higher lows and higher lows and higher highs like this. So this would indicate a higher high was formed above this one. All we would be looking for on a lower time frame, such as a 15-minute, we'd be looking for a retest of that structure, and then we could go long there with the expectation that they're holding this 94 level as support right here, and our stop loss could go below this low, and we would target this high, which would indicate sells on foreign currency, euro and GBP, at least until this level. So that's about 50 pips from where we're at now. So that's what we're going to be looking for at the beginning of the week in dollar index. So again, think about what could unfold here. Monday, Tuesday, the market could trade down into this level, find some support. Wednesday, it could make the low, and then we could start to see the market trading higher. Overall, I don't see that happening until we get to this level, though. I need to see what happens at this level in terms of a higher dollar index. But going into the week, I'm already expecting weakness because of the price action we have here so far. So if we go ahead and move over to euro dollar now. Now looking at euro dollar, we pretty much have the same exact thing, right? So we've taken out the liquidity below this low here. We've already taken out the liquidity back here with these candles. We came back one more time, swiped through that liquidity, and then we started pushing higher. So keep in mind what I just said I would want to see on a lower time frame looking at dollar index. We have that same thing unfolding here on euro dollar, right? We have a low that was formed, a high. This here is a lower low, but it's just a big wick. The bodies of the candles pretty much stayed above these, and then the market made a higher high. Okay, so a simple retest of this would be a valid long, at least until this bearish order block on a daily time frame. So up into this low that comes in at 1725. So 1720 to 1725 would be a logical upside objective to be expecting for euro dollar. Okay, now once we get to that level, if we start finding resistance opposite of what we would see on dollar index, forming lower lows and lower highs, then we would be looking to sell this market at this level and continue lower. But overall, again, I am expecting higher prices so far because we do have this indication. Now, going back to dollar index and how, I just want to pull up dollar index and compare it to this chart so you guys can see. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So if we look at dollar index here, it's a higher high. Okay, we have this high back here, and then we have a higher high that formed here. Now if we look at cable, we have a higher low. And then if we look at euro dollar, we have the lower low. So this is divergence, yes. So this could indicate that they are buying cable, so that the big institutions are buying cable right now, and that this pair is stronger because it is forming a higher low versus euro dollar. Here we've got a lower low, and dollar index made a higher high. But again, so I am expecting that initial weakness on dollar index as we start the week. So cable could get some strength, and if we really start pushing up with cable, breaking back above this high, we could definitely see a longer term position unfold for cable coming back above these equal highs here, which is over 1200 pips. So we could definitely see a significant seasonal trade that we can take here in cable. We just need to wait for the confirmation on that, Kenny. But however, looking at the market so far, all of these things are indicating that they could be potentially buying up cable. Euro could consolidate a bit, and dollar index here could just continue lower. So if dollar index pretty much just came all the way back up and they were just taking out these equal highs and they're going to continue lower, it's likely that they're probably going to start shooting down really fast, because you could see this movement up was just a gradual push up, and then it's finally cleared out the liquidity. So if we start breaking and making new lower lows, I think dollar index is really going to push hard down to this, all the way down to take out these lows back here around the 88.50 to 90 big figure level. So we could see massive sell off on dollar index if that's the case, and massive strength in euro and cable. But cable could be overall the stronger one because we are forming that higher low. So that's a really good observation, Kenny. Thanks for bringing that up, because that is actually something that we're probably going to look to take and potentially hold this longer term. So looking at cable now on a little bit clearer chart, this is the low that we were talking about back here. It's the November low right here. So they're relatively equal to this October low, but that's pretty much what we're referencing. This is pretty much what we're referencing, and the market has made a higher low so far. So what I do want to see unfold before placing a long-term position on here, I don't want to assume that this is a low right here, because I do know that there's a lot of liquidity built up below here. So I'd actually like the market to trade below here, potentially even into this ICT bullish order block, and then buy it there for that longer term position all the way back up to here, if we get bullish price action off of this level. But if we just start pushing up from here on cable to enter that longer term position, what I want to see would be a break above this high, which would indicate a break of market structure on the daily, and also that this is likely the low confirmed for the quarter. So what I'd like to see is just break of that, and then I'd look for a retest. But on this retest, I want to see how price is behaving around that level. So I want to see the higher highs and higher lows forming here, and if I get that, then I can look to buy it, and then my target will be these equal highs back here, and we'll still capture the majority of this move without having to worry about picking the low. So that's still like 900 pips, and in terms of risk, we would be looking at, it'd be like a 300 pip risk, 900 pip reward, so 1 to 3, and that'd be a huge move. So if that's something that you take, I'd wait for this, get the confirmation here, and make sure you use proper risk management, because you are going to be having a 300 pip stop loss initially, and then once the market starts continuing to make higher highs, you can just trail your stop loss between below each swing low. So that's what I'd like to see for the longer term on cable. Now, since I am expecting that initial weakness with dollar index, I do think cable is going to gain some strength and push up. Now, I don't necessarily know if we're going to come all the way back above this high. With the liquidity being back below here at 1.30, personally, I just feel like they're going to want to take this before continuing higher. But again, I could be wrong on that. That's just a personal theory. If we draw our fib from this high to this low, we can pretty much map out any potential upside retracement that we would see on dollar index. I mean on GBP USD cable. So we could see it come back up into the 33.20 to 33.90. That's what I'll be expecting in terms of upside with that initial weakness on dollar index. So that's what I'll be looking at. But again, if we do break above this, that's going to indicate a break in structure, and we can be looking for compounding long positions on this, because we're likely going to go back above these equal highs if we break above this. So that's really what I'm going to be focusing on for the week, is going to be cable and euro. I will go ahead and touch on UJ and UCAD real quick too. Now, UJ, we really didn't get nothing all week, to be 100% honest. After clearing out the liquidity below this low, I was initially thinking, since dollar index is going to continue pushing higher, this is what I was thinking last week, that dollar index was going to continue pushing higher, and since UJ had already taken out the liquidity below this low, I was thinking we're going to come back above this high, potentially, back above this triple top back here. And to be honest with you guys, it's really just consolidating. I don't have a clear read on UJ at the moment. There's really nothing clear for me to act off of. This is an ICT bullish order block here. The bodies of the candles are potentially holding, as support, but I don't have any confirmation of this yet. So expecting the weaker dollar index, initially I'm going to be looking for weakness on UJ. So looking at this in a bearish form, if we draw our fib from this high to the low, and even though the bodies didn't close below here, if we indicate this as a break of structure because it did make a lower low, and this in fact was not a stop run, then they made a retracement up to the 79% level, and then they've found resistance there and started to sell off. So that is indicating a lower high that formed, and we can be looking for a potential lower low coming back below this level here at 108. So if we look at this, the next level that I'm going to be looking for is going to be this low, and that low comes in at 109.19. So 109.20 is what I'm going to be looking for the first target of downside on UJ, and then I'm going to be looking for this high that comes in at 109. So 109 big figure. So 109.20 to 109 big figure is what I'm going to be looking at for the downside initially on UJ. So that's about 97 pips from where we're at now. All I would be looking for in terms of selling this is you're just going to be wanting to wait for the market to push up into some level of resistance. So here on an hourly basis, if the market opens and starts trading higher, you can look for a potential sell at this level here, which is an ICT bearish order block on a 1 hour time frame. So that would be a logical level. But if we initially start just breaking lower, all you would be looking for is just sell the retest. So we make a lower low. Like initially we trade lower, just wait for the market to push back up into structure, and then you can sell that and then target this low back here, ultimately below here. Now if the market does just start pushing higher, what you're going to want to look for is that ICT bearish order block. So this ICT bearish order block, once we trade up into that level, drop down to a 15-minute, wait for the lower lows and lower highs to form. Then you can confirm that they're selling at this level, and you can sell it. Stop loss would go above here, and your target would be again this low ultimately, but since you will be getting in at a better price, you can take a portion off once you get below these lows here. So that's what I will be looking at for UJ, but again, my primary focus will be Eurodollar and cable, because there's just nothing really clear that I see on UJ. Now dollar CAD is different. Looking at dollar CAD, so we took out this high that we were talking about, right? Look what happened after we took out the high. So I said if we close above here, like we get the strong close on dollar index, then we would be looking for these equal highs back here. Now if we just get a big wick, we should be looking for rejection. So look at what Friday's candle did. We had a bunch of news, and the market pushed up, spiked up initially, took out all the stops, and now it's shown rejection. So dollar CAD, we could actually see this market have a massive sell-off. And the reason because of that is we did come all the way back up, take out these highs back here, but we are ultimately within this swing here. So if you look at the swing, so we made this high down to this low. This is the range that we're within. The market is working between this high and this low. And you can break it down even smaller, like, yeah, it is working between this high here and this low. But overall, the full swing starts here and ends here. So if we look at the retracement that we've seen so far, it initially traded right up almost to that 61.8 retracement level and then sold off. So we're pretty much expecting the same thing here. So we've traded up into the 70.5, a little bit past it, not quite hitting the 79% retracement level, but we could see rejection from here. Now, I don't necessarily know if we're going to go all the way back down here. That is, that's a huge movement. That would be, yeah, that's 1200 pips. So that's basically the same move we'd be expecting in cable, and that could very well happen. But in order for us to get on board that, we don't want to just pick the low or pick the high. So we don't want to assume that this is the high. But if it is, once the market does break below this ICT bullish order block here, this down candle, this blue line, once we break below that, we could pretty much assume that this is definitely the high for the quarter, and then we could be looking for the level down here. So yeah, we wouldn't get the full 1200 pips, but in terms of range, we'd still get 900 pips. So again, similar to cable, but I want to see that confirmation on that before getting in longer term. Now shorter term, we can go into a lower time frame, like a 1 hour, for example. And if we are going to continue lower, then early on into the week, this is now confirmed an ICT bearish order block once this candle here closed below it. So if the market trades back up into this and finds some resistance, we see lower lows and lower highs forming on a 15-minute time frame, we could sell this market, and then we can just look and take profit at each swing low and see ultimately the price action that we're getting. But we could easily make a move below these equal lows here. And at that point, if we break below there, we can stack on another position. So if we do get on board up here, and then we do, close off a portion here, we've already locked in 300 pips. And at that point, we could compound another position here on that retest and then look for that daily target. So that's something to consider with $CAD. I'm not necessarily saying that this is the high, but that could be a potential scenario that we see unfold. Now, if we do come back down, we could come back down and retest this high. All right, because just think about what I always talk about. High, higher high, broken structure. So all of this would be a retest. We could very well trade back right into this 3120 level, find support, and start trading higher to ultimately take out these equal highs back at the 36 level. All right, so that's something that we have to anticipate, and that's why for the longer term position, I want to see a breakdown below this level here. But for short term, we can look to sell this market pretty much until it gets into this level. Once it gets there, we have to go on a lower time frame and figure out what is the market doing and what is it indicating to us. Should we still be selling, or should we actually start buying at this level? So that would be something to definitely keep an eye on. Would be $CAD. So really, I'm going to be looking at the watch list for the week. For me, primarily is in this order: GBP USD, Euro USD, and $CAD, then USD JPY. So that's pretty much exactly what I'm going to be looking for. That wraps up the weekly technicals portion. I will go ahead and move into the questions now. Let me just take a look at the chat box and see what we got.
After this track, I might need me some lozenges. I ain't about to go soft. This rapping shit lately been pissing me off. Guess these words are kinda just at the tip of my tongue, but I'm still young and I hope I find the rhymes that'll live through time before that fat lady has sung. Cause when I'm inside this booth, feels like I rule the world. But I'll hop off my horse, hop in your Porsche, give it a